All right, this is a video that's going to take you through the second project for the course. In this project, you will be doing a hypothesis test and a confidence interval from a sample that you take using a given data set. So this is the project worksheet that you're going to be working through. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a topic. We've provided you with two different data sets, so you can either work with a quantitative data set or a qualitative data set. So you just need to pick which one of those you want to work with. You're going to look at the data set and you're going to pick only one variable from the data set to work with for your hypothesis test and your confidence interval. So I'm going to show you this, guys. So this is a document that is also posted that will give you the null hypothesis that you can use for one of the variables that you choose. So the two data sets are, the first one is a data set that contains player information from players from the Major League Baseball Association, and it contains their height, their weight, and their ages. So these are the possible null hypotheses that you could use. The second data set is the results from a survey given to voters. We have a null hypothesis on their gender, their opinion on solitary confinement, their opinion on gun control, and their political party. And then these X values here are letting you know which variable it is that we're going to be focusing on. So for here, we're looking at X equals the number of males. So that means that this P value here is the proportion of males. And so we're going to start by assuming that the proportion of males is equal to 0.5. And then that continues for solitary, gun control, and political party. So you're going to pick one of the variables, only one, and this is going to be the null hypothesis that you use. So then going back to the first document, once you've picked the variable that you want to work with, you're going to write the null hypothesis here. So let's say I'm going to work with the heights. So the null from that document for the average height would be mu equals 70, and then my alternative would go here. So what do I think is happening to the heights relative to that 70? It could be less than, greater than, or not equal to. So once you've decided which data set you're going to work with, you're going to actually go and collect data from the Excel document. So you need to collect at least 30 records, and you must use one of the sampling techniques that we talked about back in Module 6. So that's stratified, cluster, simple random, or systematic sampling. And I'm going to show you one of the data sets. I can only pull up one at a time for some reason. So this is the data set on voter information. So each row of this Excel document represents a single person. So if we look at like this 10th person right here, so this number 10 is the index. So that's what you'd reference in the first column of the table of the previous document. And then you would have, if you're looking at their gender, then you would say, okay, this person was male, or they oppose solitary confinement, depending on which variable you're looking at. Okay, and then you can use the age group and the race to create groups if you want to do that cluster or stratified sampling. So I'm going to come back here. So here you would write down, so the index would be the 10, the strata or cluster if I used cluster or stratified sampling, and then the response here would be male. And then I would also change this to gender. Okay, so you're going to do that. You're going to get at least 30. You're going to make sure that you've satisfied the central limit theorem. So this is our check to verify normality. If you do this and you have a normal distribution, then you can go ahead and move on. If you do this check and you do not verify normality, so your normality verification fails, then you need to go back and survey more people. Okay, so then briefly describe the sampling technique you use. So how did you break up the data? How did you make sure it was random? Did you use a random number generator? How did you create those strata or those clusters? Then once you have your data set and you have proven that it is normal, you can go ahead and do some descriptive statistics. So we're just looking for two different things here, either the mean and the standard deviation, or the sample proportion and the standard deviation of that proportion. Okay, and then part 4 is the actual confidence interval and hypothesis test. So we're going to do the hypothesis test first. So you're going to be using a level of significance of 0.05, and you're going to be doing this test by hand, using the by hand method. So that means you can't jump straight into the calculator to do the Z or T score. I want to actually see you calculating those. And then the confidence intervals, again, these are by hand, so showing me all of those steps, and then just a couple of different intervals and questions related to those intervals. So this assignment is due on the last day of class, which has been posted in each of your individual classes. And that's it.